Thanks for coming over, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna mostly talk to Ryan because I'm assuming I'm the only one who will probably ever watch this. But in case I'm wrong, hello, billions of adoring fans.
And hello again, all of you, billions of people.
All right, so you brought a chart.
I'm not sure I'm capable enough to play it, but it's kind of a cool tune.
Let's look at it.
And then I brought a couple of mine that sound good on acoustics.
Awesome. What do you want to read first?
Maybe let's play this one because I feel more confident in this one. You're a much better sight reader than I am. I know. It's actually intimidating to play music with you sometimes because of your reading level.
I can't imagine why. It's an absurd statement. And thank you, I guess, sort of. And
I've gotten better at sight reading over the years, but I think even 10 years ago, you're still smoking me now.
Well, how many years has it been since you watched me sight read? And how often?
About 10.
How often do you think I've done it recently?
Probably not as much as you once did. But this one is mostly just triads. So chords-wise, I'm confident that both of us are going to hang.
Great. I love triads. Why complicate things?
Yeah. Do you want to just play?
Yeah. It says, a la, long as you know you're living yours.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, I'm not sure how much I actually agree with that. I wrote it, but I don't. It's more like pretty triad. It was inspired by just hanging out with my wife on our patio during the summer. And just, kind of capturing the end of summer, rosé. I kind of sometimes imagine, we grew up in California, in the Bay Area. Like if you ever went to Santa Cruz at sunset, there's the Pacific Ocean and the sun. That's the vibe of this one.
You're speaking my language. All right, cool.
Yeah.
tune.
Thanks, man. Just have to tune up after you bend strings, right?
Oh yeah. Even worse if it's a whammy bar.
It's way worse.
Oh my
I
god.
just got my first Stratocaster this year,
Ooh.
and it's that whammy. That's new to me.
So fun.
I got the Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat.
Nice.
I mean, it was just like that was my guy when I was in high school. So I was like, I'm gonna make my 16-year-old self happy and buy this $1,500 Stratocaster right now.
That's awesome. I have like a much less expensive Stratocaster than that. It's kind of a Frankenstein,
Love those.
and it's really fun to play. In fact, last night was the first time I've played it on a gig in a long time.
Cool.
The other thing I've been playing is like this Epiphone semi-hollow electric that Chelsea's dad gave her.
Cool.
And then I stole from her.
Nice.
I bought her this guitar so that I could steal it, in fact. And then today I stole this guitar.
Those are nice. Breed Love. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're like sort of Oregonian, right? They're like made in China, maybe, but
I think they might be designed
I
here.
think so. Bend, maybe,
Maybe.
something like that.
Yeah.
This is a commercial for Breed Love. This whole thing.
Send us money. I was watching this travel video in like Namibia
Oh, okay. Yeah.
on YouTube. It was pretty awesome, and the host was like, "We didn't know what we were gonna do. We didn't have a car. We went on Instagram and we're like, hey, maybe somebody will see this post and want to work with us, like a local travel company who wants publicity." And then we woke up in the morning and a travel company offered us a car. It's like, the magic of the internet.
Yeah.
So Breed Love,
Yeah.
you listening?
Breed Love. We would love to show your guitars all over the Portland scene. Send us guitars.
We could play artichoke music.
Yeah.
We could play hum-strum guitars.
I don't know. Oh, is that different than strum?
I probably have. I'm conflating two things. I'm realizing actually. I think.
I love strum. That's also Michael send us guitars from Strum Guitars. Yeah, I love that place.
I've never been.
Oh, it's so great. You can play tons of guitars. That's where I bought my Stratocaster. Actually, is at Strum, and it was after. It's a brilliant business model. It's a bar and a guitar shop. So you have a couple beers and you're like, I need that guitar. it's brilliant.
And they have live music, right?
Yes, yeah.
We've been talking about trying to get moon music up in
You
there.
absolutely should.
It sounds like a hang.
Yeah,
Cool
that's
hang.
great. Yeah. That's how I found out about it. We were talking off camera about Douglas Dietrich. I went there to watch his band play because he had like an acoustic thing with Bill Marsh and he plays banjo and sings. And I went and
That's cool.
had a couple beers and I saw a 12-string Ibanez on the wall from the 70s. And I was like, I need that guitar. And
Electric 12 string?
no, it's acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I met, you know, Mitchell Gonzalez?
I don't think so.
He sort of works there sometimes. He's a guitar player, and I think he is a singer too. Nice guy. And he saw me looking at that guitar, and he's like, "Don't you dare!" And I was like, "But I want it." And he's like, "No, but I'm gonna buy it." And then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna buy it." And he's like, I have had my eyes on it for weeks, and I've just been waiting to get paid or something. And I was like, "Okay, well, how about this? I'll buy it, and then when you're ready, you buy it from me." And he called me like 3 weeks later and came over and bought it.
That's funny.
Because if I don't buy it and you don't buy it, someone else is going to buy it. So, yeah.
Did you make a profit on this transaction?
No. Same, just straight across. It was fun.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's a brilliant business model. Have a couple beers, look at guitars, and of course you're going to buy one.
What part of town is this in?
It's Division and let's say 12th.
I see. Okay.
By, what do they
Oh
call
no,
it?
it's
Rev
by
Hall.
Potato Champion. I'm going there.
I don't know Potato Champion.
The French fry cart.
I need to know about this.
Oh yeah, French fries, lots of sauce options.
Oh my gosh.
And that's pretty much it. Because, you know, other carts have your protein or salad or whatever.
I want to say they stole my idea, but that's the only kind of food cart I would ever have if I had a food cart. It's just French fries and like different sauces and possibly different types of fries. You know, get your like palm frite style.
Or JoJo's.
Right.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. You get
Oh
it.
man. The food cart fantasies, like, in my head are, you know, it's a good thing I don't try to make them real.
Right.
It'd be miserable.
You're kind of a food guy, right? I saw your notes like, you know, cooking, and I think one
Yeah.
time we were hanging, you were like learning how to do Thai food and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was that?
It was a while ago.
And where was that?
at your old place south of Powell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Man, I mean, so many cooking projects in the years since then.
Yeah.
And experience opportunities to eat cool things.
Mm-hmm.
I've still never been to Asia. Chelsea has.
I have not either.
I've been to more tropical places now in the last few years than ever before, so.
Cool, like
specifically
in this
Mexico and
hemisphere?
Hawaii.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not that hard to get to and they're not that hard to travel in.
Right.
I don't have a ton of time or money for traveling as much as I would like to.
Sure.
Sponsors again, are you listening? But
Namibia, give us a call.
Right.
Skeleton Coast, I'd love to see that.
I'll try to remember to link to the Namibia video.
That's-
Reminding you, editing room Dan. Yeah, so in Mexico, the things that you can eat and the people you can encounter, it's just incredibly, it feeds my soul and makes me happy so much that it's possible to go there and have the kinds of interactions you can have, like the friendly people and incredible, fresh, amazing food.
Right.
And the Hawaiian food thing is kind of a different trip because it's not as much. I've only ever been to Big Island, and I love Hawaiian plate lunch, like rice, mac salad, and meat.
Yeah.
I love it,
Wow, yeah.
but it's not healthy.
Yeah. I mean, Hawaii's an island in the middle of the ocean, right? Like, they don't have a lot of options, you know, so
Yeah.
it has influenced their cuisine, certainly.
Have you been over there
Yeah, I've been a couple times, 3 times total in my life, yeah.
to any of the different islands?
Oahu in high school, and then Kauai 2 different times as an adult.
Awesome.
And I loved Kauai. It was just incredible. Yeah. Hawaii is one of those things where, I mean, it lives up to the hype, I think. Like, no matter where you go, you kind of like, I'm kind of a contrarian. I think you're kind of like that a little bit too.
Grumpy old man, yeah.
I kind of don't like to like things that other people like sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes.
I get it.
But Hawaii's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
How can you not like traveling in
Pretty
Hawaii?
great. Yeah.
It's hard to argue with.
Yeah, I get it.
I would love to do some island hopping on one of these trips, but I've only been to Big Island.
Okay.
And it's more rural, no big cities really.
Right.
There's Kona and there's Hilo, but neither of them's that big of a city.
Where do you fly in? Hilo?
And Kona.
Kona, okay.
There is an airport on the Hilo side, but for some reason, air tickets are very expensive. Chelsea tells me to fly into that side.
Huh.
It's not where the big tourism industry is.
Right.
It's more of a locals town.
And volcanoes and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So, like, the food, though, to get back to the Hawaiian food thing, there's the plate lunch thing, which I love, and, like, we had the famous, world-famous 1 pound of lau lau at this one place in Hilo that was incredibly delicious, so at least that's wrapped in taro leaves before you get to all the meat, so it's a little more healthy.
Yeah, sure.
But then there is, like, the Hawaiian health food thing that I wonder if maybe you've had some experience with that. Like the healthy New Agey Hawaiian types who go there to be New Agey and go to yoga retreats and eat salad and quinoa and like organic food. And there's this other, which you see those people love some of these Mexican beach towns I've been to as well. And some of them are expats who have moved there. So like, those are the 2 things I'm aware of the most in Hawaiian food is the plate lunch thing and the New Agey health food thing. There's a whole other world, I'm sure, of Hawaiian food. But
Yeah, sure. There must be, right? But yeah. And I remember everything's expensive, not just because it's a tourist place, but because it's hard to get things there.
Yeah.
Importing is how that
everything
economy
has
works.
to be shipped in, yeah. But cheap, plentiful, delicious, fresh seafood.
Right.
That's the thing they have that we don't, and fruit.
Right.
Stuff that they're surrounded by. Them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, one of the things I think is cool about Hawaii is there's no predators like in the natural landscape because there's like no need for it. It's one of those, not like a biologist or anything like that, but when all the animals have enough, they don't fight each other. That's interesting.
House cats are considered an invasive species on Big Island, and maybe it's connected to what you just said.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
they proliferate in the wild, and
Right.
maybe they keep the mongoose population under control. But those were introduced as well, right?
They must have
and
been.
are problematic. So maybe I don't know. Talking over my head here.
Way over our skis and our biology here.
Are we doing exactly what the internet is for, though? Like trying to sound like we know about something.
Yeah.
we know that it's sort of public, even though we're the only ones here.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to seem like we know about it.
Right. I more look at it like we're just having a conversation where there happens to be a camera rolling, and this is.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm frequently talking about things I don't know about when the camera's not on, so
It's no different.
It's no different.
You want to read this tune?
Yeah, sure.
Paco y Rojillo
Yeah,
by
it's
Ryan Marr.
Based on
No key signature.
Poncho and Lefty.
Oh, okay.
That's what that means in Spanish.
I don't really get the reference on Poncho and Lefty. Is it a country song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Townes Van Zandt
Huh?
wrote it, but made famous by the Highwaymen and Willie Nelson.
Nice.
And his buddies. You wanna, no key signature. It's, you wanna play the melody? No. Play the chords?
I can try. There's no 16th notes in this one. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. No key signature.
Great.
We usually, in cowboy jazz, we usually play about.
Lovely. That reminds me of the vibe of when the end credits roll on Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah.
Country song starts.
Totally.
Which is one of my favorite moments in any cultural artifact ever.
That movie is so great.
Yeah, I revisited that recently. It had been a long time.
It's been a little while for me. I pull it out every once in a while. It's just so great. It's funny. It's weird. I mean, is it the best Coen Brothers film?
It's like the most masterpiece in terms of everything is perfectly in place and you can't imagine it any other way.
Yeah.
And there's zero improvisation. Every single F-bomb is scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a ballet of clusterfuckery.
It's perfect, right? Like, I love perfect movies, and I think that is one.
Yes.
It's just, what would you want to be different? Nothing.
Yeah, and I love all their movies that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
which at this point is not all of them
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot. I've seen a few. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, the influence you can feel. Like, I kept thinking of the Coen brothers during the show I just finished watching last night called Barry.
Oh, I love Barry.
With Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Which I think is also one of the best things
So great.
that I've ever seen.
Now, Tim Wilcox hated the ending. Did you?
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was good. I was like, I don't know.
I was very satisfied.
Yeah. Same here. But
And it gives you a lot, I feel, to think about and unpack. Like, the way that events across the seasons relate to each other and what you experience and witness at the end and little details. And when you juxtapose them with things they're related to from much earlier, what it reveals, I think. I have not had every thought about it that you should have, I think.
Yeah, I probably should watch it all again, just to see if there's... But later, like give it some time, because it's only been... I mean, you just finished?
Last night.
Wow. Yeah, I finished whenever it finished, or whenever I was up to date with it, but that wasn't that long ago, maybe 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how, like, the ending, you didn't expect that they were going to find the true meaning of Christmas, Yeah, Big Lebowski, my next door neighbor, you've been in my house, is...
I can't believe that. He lives next door to Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Actual real life Sam Elliott.
Yep, it's weird. It's real weird. He knows my first name and he shakes my hand. He hugs my wife. I haven't seen him in a while though. It's not like he's there every day.
I see.
Yeah. It's the house he grew up in, and
okay.
Our next door neighbor, the one next to him, I live in a little cul-de-sac. She is 103.
Oh my gosh.
He has known her since he was a child, and he doesn't want to get rid of the house until she's gone.
Interesting.
So yeah, cool guy. He's every bit as the person that you want him to be in real life. He's just a cool guy.
Do you think maybe he's adapted to like the expectation that he'll act like Sam Elliott, the character?
I think you're right.
And so then he's like, well, okay.
I think it's a little bit both ways, or meta or something, where I think he is that character. Yeah, exactly. It does seem genuine, that because why does he remember my name? I have nothing, but yeah, it's a feedback loop, I think, a little bit. It's genuine, but also sort of outward facing,
Yeah.
But, we talk about like art, about his work, my work, and he's open to it, and like he talks like an artist, so it's real. He's a real dude. But I do think a little bit of what you're saying, sure.
What's it like for you when you're trying to go out to have coffee or go shopping or have a normal moment and there's all these people approaching you and like you just feel like you can't, get a moment's rest? Like, no. How do you handle those moments?
The utter fame and fortune that... Yeah, no, that's not real. Yeah. It is, I'm sure this happens to you, where someone you don't know does recognize you from like music or something, right? That must have happened to you.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Not often these days. Mm-hmm. Partly because I don't go out a lot.
Sure.
What's weirder to me is like to be driving around and once in a while, this doesn't happen very often, but I'll hear a song I wrote on KMHD or one of my old bands on KMHD, and it's just like from lifetimes ago.
Sure. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting older, right? You mentioned you were recently 40.
This year I turned 40, yeah. So I'm finally learning now to stop verbalizing my get off my lawn thoughts.
You're learning how to do that.
I'm working on it.
Okay. These kids today. Get off my lawn. Yeah.
What year were you born?
81.
Okay. I was born in 83, so you beat me there just only by a little bit.
By a little bit. We would have been in high school at the same time.
Yes.
And we went to high schools in the same geographic area.
Yeah, I went to Midi and you went to which one?
Santa Teresa.
Okay. Both Catholic schools.
No, you would think so.
Oh, it's not. It's public school.
Yeah, it's a public school. Right. It's on Santa Teresa Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. But
lucky bastard.
You went to an Archbishop Midi. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. a few famous athletes have gone to Archbishop Mitty.
I had no idea. I'm learning this now.
They're younger than us, but one of them is a recent NBA champion. Aaron Gordon went to Mitty.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Their music program was improving. Their music and theater programs were on the rise when I went there.
Mm-hmm.
When I was finishing up there. I wonder if they've churned out any celebrities there.
I bet there is someone. There must be. Let's look it up.
I mean, I have some friends who went there who have toured with big celebrities. And still do, in fact.
Cool.
The musicians who moved to LA from there.
Okay.
So that's awesome.
Like, who did they end up playing with?
My high school best friend toured with Dwight Yoakam for like 5 years.
That's cool.
And
he's a good actor too.
Another very close musician friend tours with Chris Stapleton.
Oh, okay.
So
that's cool.
Somehow
country
they got
guys.
into the country thing.
I like Chris Stapleton's music from what
I
I
don't know
heard.
anything about it. I should check it out. That guy plays in Dawes as well, which is I also knew nothing about, but a really good kind of big indie band.
Okay, I'm not familiar. I'll have to check that out. What have you been listening to lately?
Mostly dub music.
Okay.
Like, that's kind of the soundtrack to my life. Is a lot of reggae and dub, and just go on YouTube and type in dub playlist. That's kind of been
your thing
ever since COVID. Like a source of musical comfort, I think. And but I don't know. It's so hard to. Do you have a hard time answering that question when people ask you that?
I do. On the drive over here, knowing that we're going to do this, I had to think about it. I was like, oh, this could come up. I should have an answer. Yeah. But I remember you kind of getting into dub. I have a joke question. Is the dub and reggae thing at all related to all the weed that you smoke?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%. Absolutely. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. I didn't think that was an accident, but wanted to make sure. So I remember you talking about the dub thing, because we did a gig at Corkscrew not that long ago, 2 years ago maybe, post-COVID.
We played, I would love to play there, and maybe you can help me get in there. We should do this in there sometime.
Yeah.
Except without all the talking. Unless people like that. And it was at Neil's thing, though. Not Corkscrew.
Or not Corkscrew, Vino Veritas.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And you were talking about dub then. And then you also mentioned, like, there's a dub jazz thing or something?
I have created this thing called Dub Orchestra PDX.
Okay.
Or called Dan Duval and his Dub Orchestra. It depends on the day. Again, all that weed I smoke. So, and also, like, indecision about how do you, like, name a band that I want to be, like, a rotating cast of, let's, like, jam on reggae grooves with whoever I can get that day. Is the kind of idea.
Cool.
And it's, like, again, being a contrarian, as you are too, it's like, if there's ever any demand for me to show up and play a jazz gig, which there isn't, but if there was, as in my mind there is a little bit left somewhere in the world from decades ago, then it's like, okay, well, this is my jazz project. We jam on reggae grooves.
Cool.
That's as jazzy as I'm willing to get if I'm the one in charge these days. And I love, Ernest Ranglin.
Okay.
Who's like...
That's the name I remember you.
The granddaddy of, Jamaican Caribbean jazz. And
okay. Guitar player, right?
Yep. He's like very old, I think still alive. He has many decades worth of tons of jazz albums that are all on tropical grooves, and he played on Bob Marley records and worked with all those guys, and he's been a huge force in that kind of music.
Is he Jamaican?
I'm not sure if he's from Jamaica or some other part of the Caribbean or something. Yeah, I haven't done my homework fully on that, but listened to a ton of his albums and kind of tried to soak up how can you like play interesting jazzy solos with a reggae groove. Like, it kind of came out of situations playing music with Chelsea where it was like anytime I'm on a gig and one of the songs in this jam band is like a reggae groove I get to solo on, it's like my favorite part. So
nice.
Let's just do that all the time.
I've never really been into reggae, but I am thankful for that music and the punk related offshoot of ska from the 90s. I'm thankful for it because that's where I got strong hands from bar chords. And, because you're not gonna you have to squeeze all day, and it made my hands really strong, and bar chords really strong. So, Remember ska in the 90s?
Yeah, let's listen to some.
Okay.
I brought in this little Bluetooth speaker so
Cool.
that when we got to this part of the talk,
Yeah.
we have a prop.
Nice.
You ever watch a video of a podcast where, like, there's nothing to look at?
Yeah.
Do you ever end up actually watching it the whole time?
No,
At least we have a prop. Right?
most of my podcast is, just listening.
I don't listen to podcasts, which means I'm in no way prepared to record a long interview with you.
It's going great. I mean, I think they agree. This is what they signed up for. We're giving it to them. So.
The 82 people who subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe after I post this, I'll get it up to 85.
Yeah. If we talk about the PJCE, we could link it.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, because, we should, because you're an important part of that organization, and its history.
It warms my heart for you to say that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very kind. Lifetime's
Actually, while you pull something up, let's talk about PJCE Records a little bit, because you started it. Is that fair? It's you and Andrew, but mostly you.
I love it that you put it that way. And my ego wants to say, it was all me, baby.
Because Andrew Oliver, founding executive director, I think that's a fair title.
Sure, yeah.
Did he push back a little bit when you were like, we should have a record label?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was 100% in the spirit of his frantic energy, always saying, let's do a million things.
Love it.
And it was great. That's why I was involved in lots of things getting done during that stage of my life, my 20s and 30s, I guess, when we collaborated a lot before his move to London. So, like, love this fucking song.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, it all came out of, like, one thing that we did that we decided it would be cool to do repeatedly, which is that we recorded... I forgot which one it was, in fact, that until you recently mentioned, you were like, Goonga Galunga was the first PJCE Records release. So...
10 years ago.
So yeah, we got together with this band called Goonga Galunga, which was a ridiculous project named after something Bill Murray says in the movie Caddyshack.
Okay.
When he's like, the Dalai Lama... I met the Dalai Lama and I caddied for the Dalai Lama, and at the end of me serving him, he didn't tip me. But he looked at me and he said, Goonga Galunga, on your deathbed you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me.
I do not remember that part.
So we named the band Goonga Galunga.
Yeah.
And it was me and my buddy Tom Goikachea, who I miss all the time. He moved to Jacksonville, Wyoming, I believe, to be a music therapist. That's where he got a job. And he was ready to move.
No better place on earth for that guy, because
skiing,
music therapy,
snowboarding,
and fly fishing.
Yep.
I mean, he did it.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. So then it was Tom Barber, another awesome, amazing human playing trumpet. Amazing human John Shaw on the bass. Now I can link to Blue Cranes because I said John Shaw's name.
Yeah.
And myself on the guitar and Willie Matthias on tenor. So we had trumpet, tenor, guitar, bass, drums. We played one or two tunes by each of us. It was just a session and a hang, and it was great fun. And we went to the Tango studio, Tango Baratine. Now I can link to that. Are they on YouTube? Tango Baratine on Southeast Foster before any gentrifying had happened on Southeast Foster. So there's this tango studio over there in the middle of a crazy, scary neighborhood.
Totally.
Sirens go by and shit. And we would go in there and set up and record a live to 2-track jazz album.
Right.
And after we did the first one, Goonga Galunga, we were like, hey, that was fun. Let's start a record label where we do that once a month. So that was the first stage, was we actually did that once a month and cranked out, I don't know, I think I was involved in like 14 releases in
that sounds about right.
a year and a half or something before I was like, wow, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that conversation. You're like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's too much.
And it was that was around the same time in my development as a human, where I was getting a little older and less idealistic, and basically, I'm really sorry, but now I can only work for money. I said that to lots of different things around that time. And it made me sad, because I don't like working for money. I prefer working for idealism rather than for money.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Yeah, you produced my first album on PJCE Records too.
Sorry if I fucked up.
No, you did great. The Tango in the City of Roses, and that was like a live recording.
Oh yeah, it was the first video that
Right.
the label did.
Yes. Yeah, and you can link to that. No.
I can link to Graham Richards, who edited this, but I think he's on Instagram and not YouTube now. But he did post-production
That's right.
on your video.
Yeah. And I think Libby Roach worked on it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, the two of them worked on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you did great work there in the beginning. I mean, it's sort of
Thank you
the
so much.
sound of Portland jazz, especially at that time, I think. Yeah. And it's still going. We have a record release event tonight, PJCE Records, and it's release number 56.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And there's 3 more in the
Yeah,
can.
Ryan. I'm so excited that you took over the label when I resigned and moved on to other things, and that it even still exists at all.
Yeah.
But you've put out a ton of
Totally.
documents of the local regional
scene,
jazz
yeah.
community.
Totally. There was one person in between us for a little bit. I think for 3 or 4 releases. Lee Ellerton picked up the PJCE Records for a few releases.
I completely forgot that.
Yeah, you're on one of them.
Catfish.
Catfish. Yeah, Restraint is the name of the record.
Yeah, with Joe Cunningham from Blue Cranes.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
And Ken Ollis.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, 50, almost 60 releases because we have a few that are in the can, ready to come out.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the work you do at the label, and like, it's been so long since we've really caught up much. I don't really know what your day-to-day or month-to-month label record executive existence looks like.
Well, now, I mean, so for years, I was the director of operations, which I think is what you used to do too, for PJCE, Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble. You guys couldn't have named it something else?
I know, I'm sorry. I actually came on after they named it that, so.
Right.
The grant application was already in.
Yeah. And then I was doing like the record label thing while I was also helping out with the ensemble stuff, or the organizational stuff. But Douglas Dietrich was, the head honcho for PJCE, and then he left, and his position became 2 positions: the executive director and the artistic director. So now I'm the artistic director of the whole organization, which includes the record label now.
Oh.
So I'm still doing the old job, but I have more stuff to do. At PJCE, so programming concerts and coming up with programs. We've talked about Mexico a little bit, and one of the programs that we've been thinking about is some kind of cultural exchange, like a sister city cultural exchange with a city in Mexico.
I love it. Can I put you in touch with a musician I befriended in Mexico?
Yes. What city is it?
Editing Room Dan at Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, great.
You been there?
I have not been, but I've only heard good things.
Such a great area, so super fun, and neighboring small towns you can go to that are also super fun.
Yeah.
That whole area, the whole bay, the Bahia de Banderas, I think is what it's called. And it's like one of the very largest bays in the hemisphere, I think.
Wow.
Fascinating, awesome place, big resort town. But Chelsea and I were traveling there, and we were in a town called Sayulita, which is you've heard of that?
Yeah.
Neighboring hippie town. And one evening we were like, wow, that sounds like some really killing live jazz from this upstairs like Italian restaurant. So we went up there and ordered food and hung out and listened to these guys and talked to them on the set break, and they invited us to sit in, and then invited us to another gig later that week, and we're super awesome, nice,
very cool,
typically welcoming, hospitable, very friendly Mexican locals.
Yeah, awesome.
And I've been the bass player specifically is like just a super badass and super nice guy. So I bet he would like to hear from you guys. That would be so cool.
We'd love to do some kind of cultural exchange, the sounds of each other's cities, and
yeah.
They send some composers this way, we send some that way, and
that'd be so great.
Yeah.
I will say that our asshole government makes the work visas very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
In relation to Mexico because of American xenophobia and racism.
Sure.
So good luck.
We're
and
pretty
please
good
work hard to make it happen.
Yeah, I will. I'd like to get the State Department involved or something. That would be
That'd be so cool. You should reach out to Lincoln Center, Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Yeah,
and
they
talk
do
to them.
things like that, right?
They are involved in international diplomatic artistic missions.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
This is where I draw the line.
Yep. Me too.
So
I
on
was a
that
full
note-
blown jazz snob by the time that song came out. I was like, I had moved on. I mean, I still loved Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and stuff before that music, you know.
Yeah.
But by the time that song came out, is that Third Eye Blind?
Good job.
Yeah, I was already like peasant music, you know, like
Right.
jazz snobbery.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Bandcamp and pull up the PJCE catalog.
Great.
Well, if you don't mind, you can speak a little bit more about what the label is.
Mhm.
Like, is there a certain like mission? Do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to think, and I'd like to hear what you have to say, that we're upholding some of the values that you set out to do. Maybe a little less DIY than the first handful of releases, but we still want regional composers, whether that's across the river in Southwest Washington or all the way to Eugene, you know, people from this region, composers, original music, as loose as we want to be with the term jazz, because we have super out stuff, and then we also have really swinging stuff, and we have large ensemble, and we have small ensemble stuff on the label, and we continue to. So we just like want Portland jazz composers to have an outlet for recordings, and there are a handful, 5. I'll say 5, I don't know the exact number, tunes that were not written by people on the albums, right? So like...
In all those 56 releases, only 5 tunes were
Something
composed
like
by not a local regional composer.
Right.
That's an awesome track record.
Yeah, yes.
It's like, I know that there's a Sunjae Lee Smile by Charlie
Smile,
Chaplin,
yeah.
which is awesome, featuring the
Yep.
dearly departed Andre St. James and iconic Tim DeRoche.
Yeah.
I love that recording.
Yeah, it's great.
From Breathe, one of the
Uh-huh.
earliest editing room Dan. Like okay, yeah, amazing.
And I think I have a Stephen Foster tune on Tango in the City of the Roses. Andrew Durkin did not Fishbone, Faith No More. Yeah.
On the quadrophones.
Yes. Yep. And then a couple other ones. Jessie Smith has a Rodgers and Hart tune on hers. Yeah, so it's like, it's definitely less than 10. We're single digits where it's not one of us that wrote the tunes.
From the region, representing
Yeah.
people in the region who write music that is, you just referred to how, you know, what did you say? As loose as we want to be with the term jazz.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, because people, including myself, have an idea of what that word means, and I actually think that's important, and I think it's important for us to disagree on what the term jazz is, because it's important to disagree sometimes, and we shouldn't be afraid of that, you know. But some people, in fact, we've heard from our audience, the Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble audience, that sometimes that's not jazz, that's just pressing buttons, is one thing that someone said one time, or like, you know, and that's fine.
rude.
Yeah, it is.
Rude thing to say to an artist.
Yeah, right. What you're doing is not art. Thanks. Yeah, I do think that there is a definition of what jazz is. It's hard for me to actually define that. Maybe that means there isn't a definition. I don't know. Certain things are jazz, certain things aren't. Words mean things. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe that jazz is the definition of jazz is a conversation. Maybe.
I've heard it said that some things are hard to define but easier to recognize.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like
and maybe that applies to jazz.
Yeah.
And I think some of the most common, some of the features that are in most things that are considered jazz are playing an instrument as artistry, like
Mm-hmm.
the artistry of human hands on an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the most universal. The fact that there's some element of improvisation.
Yeah, I think that's an important part. But
And that it's related to the story of Black American art music.
yes.
I think that...
I think that's maybe the best definition of what jazz is.
Those
Black American
things-
art music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't make all Black American art music jazz, but jazz is Black American art music, yeah.
And immediately you could play devil's advocate on any of those things.
I love it. Just keep talking in circles. We could do it all day, yeah. And the great piano player Kenny Barron, one time I heard him talking at the Stanford Jazz Workshop when I was, learning as much as I could about jazz at a very young age, 17, 18 years old. He had a hard time defining jazz, and he's a jazz legend. And like anyone that disagrees with that, just like, okay, then we're not going to have any kind of common ground here at all. That person, Kenny Barron, knows what he's talking about when it comes to jazz, and he had a hard time defining it. And he said, "It's hard for me to tell you what jazz is. It's easier for me to tell you what jazz isn't." So a definition by abstraction or subtraction. Yeah.
I like that. So. I'm curious, this makes me curious if there's been a moment in your role as the leader, providing leadership for this label, where you've had to say no, and it could be at any stage of a project, but it could be from an artist approaching you and you saying, "No, I won't, I'm sorry, but I won't work with you on putting your album on the label." Or it could be something who's in the middle of a project and you receiving audio and saying, "I'm sorry, but this is a violation of the spirit of the enterprise." Or
yeah, we have had to no over the years. I try not to make it solely my decision. It's easier to spread the blame around. And some of them have been for various reasons, but I could talk about a recent one where we kind of passed, but I thought it was really great. And Jet Black Pearl, are you familiar with her?
I have a very slim familiarity with her.
She's a really great musician and writes really cool stuff. And it was close, but it wasn't jazz enough. And I talked with her about, like, we should do something. Like, let's do, like, a new thing, a special thing, so that it's, like, perfect. And, like, because you're great and your music's great, it's just not great for the label as it is right here.
It's not relevant enough to the brand.
Yeah, it's we have to. You should look out for yourself. We should look out for ourselves. And if we do this, it's not great for us. If you do this, it may not be great for you. Because of whatever. Branding or. But I would really like to work with Jet Black Pearl, and have it be a great fit for both of us. And so that's a recent example.
What form do you think that would take? The idea of maybe just you, Ryan Marr, the individual, not the nonprofit employee, playing a role as a presenter or promoter, saying, "I assisted," or maybe played a associate producer role or something like that. Like, have you thought about what that would look like? The mechanics or details of that?
I think, I would probably have to assume some kind of role if we're going to put it on our label as an organization. The artistic director, me, should have some role in the creation of the product so that it works for the organization.
Oh, you mean collaborate on maybe another album with her that would work for the label?
Yes.
I see.
Yes. Let's make a new thing that we both love.
How did she respond to that?
I think fairly positively. I'm not sure I'd put it in as plain in terms as I am right now to her at the time. I would like to. She's a very nice person, very interesting.
I've heard great things about her.
And it certainly wasn't a question of like musical quality or anything like that. It just wasn't a great fit at the time or something.
Yeah.
But I would like to do something in the future that is a great for both of us.
Yeah. Would you mind pulling up something
from the label?
To share from the label? Yeah. There's your Bandcamp.
Yeah. So many cool recent things. Like, should we listen to something that's like weird or?
Whatever you feel like.
I mean, that's probably not great to say weird and then play one of my friends' pieces of music. Maybe something that represents the diversity of sound and thought on the label.
Yeah.
I'll play something from the most recent album. Chris Lee's quintet music. A Little Travelin' Music is the name of the tune.
You can crank the volume up here. Let's see. Time for a new phone. I would say that is jazz.
Yeah, it'd be hard to not call it jazz, even though there's like triads. It's swinging. It's got Dan Ballmer on it. That's a jazz guitar
The
player.
legend Dan
Yeah.
Ballmer.
Thomas Barber. How about that? First record on PJCE Records, and most recent record. Number 56 and number 1.
That's awesome. He's on tour with Pink Martini now. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a drummer-led quintet.
Yeah.
Dan Ballmer, Greg Goebel, Thomas Barber, Dave Capteen, and bandleader Chris Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, he plays vibes.
Yeah.
You know what would be cool? A series where we make 56 episodes. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
In
Featuring-
each episode, we listen to one album from the label.
That'd be cool. Yeah. A podcast. Jazz, but distortion and string bends and not the most jazz guitar tone, right? So, you know, bending, some delay on there too. Sounds like the bridge pickup maybe.
Yeah. So those things are like... It's been so many decades since Schofield and Frizzell and Mike Stern that like... It's been a long time since those are disqualifiers for is it jazz.
Right. Yeah, because they already did the work of.
It's been absorbed.
Yeah, totally.
Some harmonic cleverness there.
Dan Ballmer has the next release coming out.
Oh, okay. Who's on it?
Gary Versace and
Oh.
Rudy Royston, so it's like an all-star organ trio.
That's badass.
I've only heard one track so far, but it's great.
That's really great.
Yeah,
Are you gonna get him a write-up in Downbeat?
I hope so. I mean, he deserves it. As you know a little bit about this because you've been poking around, that you need a lot of lead time to get press, and we're running out of time for like international press like Downbeat, but I'm gonna try it for sure.
That whole game, that part of the music business is so impenetrable to many, I think.
Yeah.
And undeniably, there's an element of payola,
Yeah, right.
old school payola, in the
Yeah.
form of the publicists who have the connections.
This is us. Here we are.
That's Ryan. We're gonna go walk around the farm. All right, yeah, let's go walk around. It's like the first rainy day.
Yeah, it is, huh? The first day of fall, too, maybe for a second.
Yeah, pretty close.
Autumnal equinox.
This is Ryan's first time at my house. Check out the farm first. Yep, they're supposed to stay in here, and they don't.
How do they get out? Oh, underneath.
Two of them know how to get underneath. Get out underneath. You can see our newest creation over there, the shitty cabinet with the roof on it.
Is that for them?
Yeah, like, now that bad weather is back, they need another place to hide. Like, last time there was bad weather, this fence wasn't here, and they roamed the neighborhood with impunity.
Did you lose any?
Not yet.
Coyotes?
We've never dealt with a chicken death yet.
I'm glad.
There will come a time when we have to kill a chicken. And
that will be dinner time.
there may come a time when we do it because it's a meat bird.
Yeah. These are meat birds?
They're not.
Oh, okay.
These are pets. All 4 of these chickens have names.
Okay.
Their names are Chicky Chick, Lavender, Lily, and Daffodil. And we will not be eating these chickens.
That's a rooster, right?
Nope, can't have a rooster in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same with Portland too, right?
Yep. So, like, they're for eggs and for entertainment. If we were to get meat birds, which we talk about doing, we would not name them. And we have researched how to go from bird walking in your yard to frozen meat in your freezer. It's not as disturbing as you may think.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? If you're gonna eat meat, you should have to kill an animal.
I'm not against that idea.
Like a license or something. Like you get a license to eat meat, and it's because you killed an animal that you consume the flesh of.
It's similar to war, I think, that like we have a military class and a civilian class that do not talk to each other.
Yeah, that's almost like ancient, right? Like Sparta or something.
And on the other hand, there's countries where there's compulsive military service for all.
Sure.
Like, if you want the benefits of the thing, should you have to do the thing?
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm not at all serious about the meat license, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, so they have that coop that we built like when we moved in here a few years back. Mm-hmm. And we finally got a letter saying your chickens are a nuisance, keep them in, or we will fine you. So we built this fence, and even though 2 chickens know how to get out,
they don't go far.
Well, they don't want to go far from the other chickens, so they always return to the flock. So they don't really go in the neighbors' yards anymore.
There's 4 total, you said?
We have 4 of them, yeah.
Are they all the same breed of chicken?
No, actually. So Chicky Chick here was, the reason her name is she has a different naming pattern too, because she was hatched by a duck we used to live with.
Wow, so a chicken egg hatched by a duck.
Yeah, we were living for 7 months during COVID lockdowns on a farm near Eugene.
Oh, okay.
And we were caretakers there. And they had a bunch of animals, cows, goats. We are so excited to get goats.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ready yet, but
I want to go too.
Goats are amazing. You can't just have one, I think. They're too social.
Oh, okay.
But they're amazing. We lived with a flock of goats. We spent a ton of time with those goats. And there were a bunch of ducks and a bunch of chickens. And there were male and female chickens and only female ducks. So there was a duck nesting on a bunch of eggs, none of which were going to hatch. But a fertilized chicken egg got in there somehow. Wow. Which I guess is not that uncommon in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And it's like this chicken hatched, like, we had an eye on it and we were like, that's amazing, but you can't leave it with a duck. The duck will take it in the pond and it'll die.
Okay.
So we raised Chicky Chick in our living room in a box by hand. So she's way too comfortable with people. She's assertive and aggressive, and she'll kick and peck you to say, like, pick me up or give me grubbies.
Okay.
So she's a little asshole.
Pet duck.
This one right over here. This is Chicky Chick, and she's an asshole. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So then we bought the other 3 from a neighbor here. They were already adult hens who were laying eggs. And they appear to be maybe the same breed as each other.
We were talking about biology before. I never thought about a chicken not being able to swim.
Yeah, a chick anyway. I don't know about chickens. I have no idea. They seem buoyant.
Yeah. They can fly, sort of. Right?
I actually know her breed amazingly, which she's a Sicilian buttercup.
Sicilian buttercup.
And they are known to make very good pets.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mika Brookeman is a chicken person.
Yeah, and an apiarist.
Yeah, right. Bees and chickens.
Yeah.
She has some chicken breed that is fun to say. Dorking? I think that's a dorking chicken.
A dorking we will go. You want some grapes?
Oh, you got some grapes?
We have our neighbor's grapes.
Did they get a letter?
I'm gonna write them a letter. I'm gonna fine you. You keep feeding me delicious grapes. They're all up in there. Help yourself, man.
These attract unwanted guests?
Not really. I mean, part of why we got the cat was like chickens are known to attract rats, but cats will keep it under control. And
Love cats.
yeah, they're amazing.
Utilitarian pet.
They're so awesome and so independent. Like, I don't have I couldn't have a dog these days. I love dogs, but it was too much. Too much commitment.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, let me show you the.
Good. Wow.
Yeah, aren't they good? Thank you, neighbors, for grapevine spillage. Let's walk around front to the rest of the garden.
Did I see an apple tree?
Yeah, we have an apple tree over that way. Tons of apples rotting on the ground, attracting flies and fruit flies.
Yep.
First atmospheric river of the year.
You got central AC. Kill it.
Yep. Pretty cool.
2-car garage.
That is a big old garage. I would love to make better use of it, like weatherizing it.
Yeah.
Saving up for a bottle wall. When we build a goat shack, we want to do a bottle wall. You ever see one of those?
Yeah. That's cool.
In 1966, this house was built and it was a 100-acre dairy farm.
100-acre dairy.
Yeah.
Stinky.
Seriously.
Dairy farms. Wow.
Yeah.
I love gardening.
Yeah, Chelsea's good at gardening, so I try to do what she says, but it's all, she gets all the credit. Some zucchinis and some cucumbers, and the basil really went insane there. It's like one basil plant.
Wow.
And oh man, and tons of tomatoes.
Tomato basil.
Yeah.
It's a soup right there.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then look at them pumpkins. We got to get them up before they rot.
Smashing pumpkins.
Yes, they are quite smashing, aren't they? And then watermelons.
That's fun.
Yep, there were 3. The other one split when it was even smaller than that, so we ate it, and it was tiny and sweet and delicious and hilarious.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed that it would be sour or bitter
Yeah.
or something.
I was very surprised. I wasn't gonna. I thought it was a lost cause, but
Yeah.
Chelsea was like, "Here." It was awesome. Yep. So next year we'll add 2 more beds to this. One on this end, one on that end.
Cool. That's not edible, is it?
That's corn.
That's what I was thinking. It was corn.
This is corn. Yeah. This is a horribly invasive thing we need to
Oh.
figure out how to get rid of. It will be the only plant on our whole lot if we do not figure it out.
Oh, you know what this looks like? Yeah, it looks like one of those. I know what you're talking about. Those are hard to get rid of.
Yep. It's some kind of lilac, maybe.
That sounds about right. Yeah. And what you see is not what you get. They are kind of everywhere that you don't see right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had to deal with that at your house?
Tree of Heaven is our
Oh.
similar kind of vibe.
Yep. That's the full circuit.
The tour. Gift shop on the way out.
Yep. But we only sell soap and audio CDs. All right, you want to go get lunch?
Let's do it.
Cool.
those vegetables.
Look at that. It's health food that I wanted. There we go.
Now you're healthy. But our parents kept us in touch and also high school. Middle and high school. We were up at Edmonton. And he went to that was we were past. We didn't see each other a ton.
Look out below.
Bombs away! He was up here in Seattle.
This is going to be Oregon City Brewing, more sponsors for the podcast.
He is a cigar. It's called Dark Vader.
Good name. It is.
So, you just mentioned your wife, she's a flight attendant.
Yeah.
Is her, like, work, is it because her work takes her all over that she's built up I think that spice tolerance?
Spice tolerance. I don't know what it is. It's not normal. I like spicy food, right? And sometimes I try to outdo her, but I think in general she's just better at it. But there's something too, like super spicy too. Right? You get a little high when it's like really spicy. And if it tastes good and it's really spicy, I don't like things that are like just spicy and it doesn't taste good. It's just like, what is this gross thing in my mouth that hurts? But like we go to Fire Mountain and we get the buffalo hot, and then she'll get like extra spicy on the side. That's pretty good. And then sometimes we mess around with the El Jefe wings, which are like it's bad. Like you eat one and it's 20 minutes of like pain, So yeah, we'll go for it. But she's better. She's better than I am.
So Chelsea used to work at Comic Con.
Okay.
And they would eat the papaya salad all the time. And like gradually increase the number of chilies they asked the chef to put in there. Thai bird's eye chilies. Just, I can't follow it. Like I like spicy food.
Yeah.
I just ordered this medium. My scalp was already a little sweaty. And I haven't even eaten very much.
A little glow.
Yeah, it's great. And you're right, it makes you kind of high.
And if you have something that's like spicy and good, then you want to keep it. It's like addictive a little bit.
Yeah, food, addictive behaviors are a really big part of my life. I mean, addiction is broadly defined as repeated use despite harm.
Okay.
And during times in my life that I've sought out constantly eating restaurant food when I had no money, I think you could argue that was pretty serious restaurant food addiction.
Like, yeah, the harm being financial.
Precisely.
This lamb cheesesteak is good. It's interesting. It's not quite what I thought it was going to be, but yeah, it's good. It's a little greasier than I thought. I guess I didn't know lamb was greasy. I thought of it as more lean.
Kind of a fatty,
Yeah.
depending on, but if it's like ground lamb, with all the fat, it's a higher percentage.
It's interesting lamb, right? Like, it's got to be not just a sheep, but like a real young sheep. Because when it gets too old, then it's mutton. And no one likes mutton, except for like fast meat, right? Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, that's true. Again, talking on my ass. I I heard that lamb is not as young as a lot of people think.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to say any numbers because it's very wrong.
Yeah. United States Land Council is going to write in here.
Right. Have you ever eaten any veal?
Yeah,
Do you like it?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do like the taste of it. And my godfather is Sicilian, and his mom, a long time ago, told me about like the different kinds of veal that she was raised on. Milk-fed veal, like it's got to be like mothers. That's the thing I ate.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense in the world of animal husbandry.
Right.
You need to have a certain ratio of male and female animals to meet your needs, and then some of the young male animals you need to rent in from their stomach for cheese making.
Oh, okay.
And you need them to not grow up to become a male cow that you need to take care of. So you slaughter them and maybe rent it and make meals.
Interesting. Does like the idea of a steer have anything to do with that too? Or
Sure.
that's more for breeding? Yeah. Have you ever had beef?
Yeah.
The beef is veal. Beef, veal, pork. I think it's like a kind of like a log shaped thing. Yeah, it's like an Italian thing.
I must try it.
Yeah. It is good. Yeah, it's like a rolled up log. That's what I had. Like sort of a sausage. It's hard to tell the story of like people without animals.
Yeah.
That's sort of something that sets us apart from like species. I mean, there are like species that cohabitate together or even use each other. What's that relationship called again?
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic relationship, yeah. But like we need animals to do what we want them to do, and sometimes they like it.
Yeah.
Like horses love it.
Yeah. Do you like horses?
It's been a long time. But I'm from horse people, so I grew up around them and riding them a little. My dad knows an inordinate amount of things about horses. Dogs love doing their dog jobs, like the dog is. Yeah. Weird. People are weird.
Yeah. They are. Strange opportunity to be a life form on this planet. That we are the ruling class of the planet. The land, for
The land,
especially.
yeah, the
Not the
land.
sea or the air quite as
As
much.
much, right?
Although we're flocking around in them as well.
That's interesting about us. Yeah.
I like how you looked at something a second ago and you said the story of humans.
Yeah, the story of people. Yeah.
Have you ever been able to visit like a relationship with it?
No. I mean, I guess like in the desert, like out in California, like the unsouth people, yeah, like Powell, that area, like.
That's cool.
But those are not ruins as much as like dwellings. You mean like Roman or Egyptian things? Or?
I've only seen a site called Uxmal, which is in the Canada Peninsula. One of our Mexico vacations, we saw this incredible ruin that has like a giant pyramid and it's a big city among a network of big cities.
Right.
And this is one of the most interesting thought-provoking experiences that I've ever had. I spent a day walking around the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
you're like, wait, how long was this? And they did all of this?
Right. Like the giant pyramid, for example, where you build these stages every 5 or 6. Like they built a thing, and they built a bigger thing around it, and it kept going over the 1,000 years. And the old, you know, that 1,000 years started 2,000 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, humans are incredible. That's an interesting thing about humanity is like why do that or even how do that over such a long period of time. It's not just a how of like how do you understand rocks. That's just an engineering thing that I would trust humans to figure out. It's the how did you do that over that period of time? Because those are generations of how do you pass down the information of what we're going to do. Or yeah. That's horrible.
Are you talking about the like coordination of labor over not just one lifespan?
That's part of it, yeah. Or the idea of this place is. It's not like they started at the beginning. It's like one day this is going to be what we see it as now. But this evolving pyramid that I'm not familiar with, but like it started as a big idea, and that big idea continued to grow. And they didn't forget about it, or they didn't move on from it. It was like commitment over generations. That's weird. Animals don't do that.
Right. Yeah, that long-term vision, executing a very long-term vision.
Yeah. And the vision grows, you know, or changes, evolves. If you ever, before Notre Dame burned down, did you see the Onion's headline?
Yeah.
The Onion's headline was fire caused by faulty 13th century winery.
Thank you for the reminder to go start reading the Onion. Did you ever read a web comic called Hatewood? For some reason, it doesn't surprise me that you're aware of it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I call myself a fan, but I've seen that. Yeah, what do you like to laugh at?
Well, there's a show that, just the most recent example that comes to mind. Chelsea put on this British show on Netflix called Sex Education, like the sex life of high school kids.
Okay.
And there's one character whose mom is played by Julie Andrews. The mom is a sex therapist.
Okay.
So the teenage son, who's very sexually repressed, starts a con at his school with another kid. This young lady student convinces him they should provide sex therapy in the school. I'm sure the profits his reasons. Like a sexually repressed teen, the school sex therapist. And it's pretty hilarious. And also very smart and well-made show.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
But Zach Galifianakis is the funniest guy.
Yeah.
You, Zach Galifianakis, are the funniest guy.
Yeah. I love that.
I was not aware of him until the last couple of years. Chelsea showed me the 22 first. It's good.
So that series is so brilliant. He's great. British people are pretty funny, right? Like, of course, comedy is subjective, and not everyone finds everything funny. But like, that's a culture that loves a certain kind of humor, and they are very good at it.
Yes.
They're very funny people.
The other person that comes to mind now is John C. Reilly.
Oh yeah.
Because of Step Brothers, and also the character he created called Dr. Cool.
That's it. What show is that on?
I don't know.
It's on some show.
Somewhere on Netflix.
Adult Swim, right? Was it Tim and Eric Meagher, awesome show, good job.
I never watched that.
I didn't watch it either. Zach was on that. I think you should leave. It's a recent funny show. It's a sketch comedy show, and it's pretty out there. It's like pretty avant-garde, but it is hilarious. Yeah. After you have to kind of give it a second, and you have to give it humor. Just the way that I love people that look at things in a weird way. That's what makes me laugh. Larry David.
Yeah, Judd Apatow's films. Miracle Express, of course.
That's a great story. Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
And great story.
My favorite part is when they're running, chasing away or getting chased by the cop, and he slams on the brake, like thinking that she would just go by. The argument. Because we've all thought about that. It's like, oh, why don't you just slam on the brakes? And they go. That's my favorite part.
Because in movies they show that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Great movie where they show it.
I just
Kissing you.
she like shoots the yeah, Seth Rogen has an interesting way of looking at the world. I like his thing.
Yeah. This is a good reminder to watch more funny shit.
Yeah.
They make less of it.
Yeah, right, because it doesn't make that much money. Especially there's that.
Like, East Ted Joya's Substack. You wrote about why is music getting sadder. Spotify was calling this last summer on the charts that follow summer credit for following negative emotions.
Sure.
Making playlists geared towards that.
Yeah, I see that. I teach people younger than me, college-age students often, and one of my teaching appointments, I have a number of students that are like promising musicians, not jazz musicians, they're more into singer-songwriters, but they take jazz lessons around. That's great.
Yeah.
They're all gaga over Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh, I think that's how Burger stuff.
I think it sounds great,
Yeah.
but it's very sad. And one of them described the music as sad white women music.
It's not live, not if I can play that.
It's recording. Yeah. Sad music. I like sad music.
Me too. I try to, like, Henry Rollins says some great things about music during the week. It's like 5 weekdays of listening to music he's never ever heard before. And it's like eating clean protein and working out and like eating healthy vegetables and nutrition and stuff like that. And then the weekend comes and he spends 2 days listening to old favorite music that's like eating a cheeseburger and french fries and shit.
You like that?
That really stuck. Like after hearing that, I feel like I want to listen to music in the way that Henry Rollins.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah. Talking about being good at talking. He's made a great career in that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, listening to new music is something that you should do, right? Like that. And I've been thinking about that because I was on the drive over here. I was thinking about the answer. I'm like, what have you been listening to lately?
Right.
And I tend to listen to things that I already like. And I don't know how positive that is. It sounds like Andrew Rollins sees the problem of that too. And it's more like lamb Philly cheesesteak.
Need some more vegetables?
I need some more vegetables and need protein.
Have a drink.
Yeah, and why? So why should we listen to new music? Good question.
And how will we cope with it? The discomfort.
New experiences are good for you, right? That's the learn of why. That's why you should hear vegetables. Also, if we're going to create new music, we should probably have some interest in listening to new music. Otherwise,
my students are middle school, grade school, middle school, high school for the most part. I don't have very many of them. And with their grade, I love working with them.
Right.
And they're like, most of them, if you ask them, what do you like to listen to, they would say, yes. It's a single word.
A single word.
And a lot of them use the same single word.
I don't know.
They say everything.
I see. Yes.
Which is like kind of a non-answer. And
Oh, really? You're just into bucket drumming? Like you're into bucket
I
drumming?
love that. So like,
Discerning taste. Last day's line.
I'm starting to feel a little bit more sympathetic for her. Rather than having a romantic, fistic, loud moment. Being like, why are you trying to avoid answering the question or whatever? I feel like it's a very understandable position. That's the most appropriate response. Then like, this musician is asking me what I like, and I don't want to offend them by saying I like what they don't like or I don't like what they do like. And I think it's very genuine because they live in a world of turn on the faucet and let the music run as long as you want.
Yeah.
And what might come out? Everything. And I like that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's awkward for me. Yeah.
so it's a more, that answer is more respectable.
It's definitely understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know what it's like to grow up any other time than the time I grew up. I mean, I can make a reasonable guess. And it's a little unfair for me to wish that the kids these days did what I did. Like, that's not how life works.
Right.
So, giving your friend a mixtape, check out this. Yeah, that's not ever gonna happen again. A little bit of everything, for sure. I think it's interesting, like when you get younger guitar students, that they like that we're playing the same songs that we played, and when we were playing them, they were already old songs.
I mean, that's what that instrument was. That's what, there's a period of time from, let's say, roughly 1950 to 2000, when electro-guitar idioms were developed, and now it's a fixed
Codified.
mechanic.
Yes, right. Definitely. This is how the guitar works for 50 years, and that's what you're playing. My friend Joe Bagg said he has a student, or has had students at what's that university or music school in LA called? Usually called Guitar Institute, but Musicians Institute in LA. The students there were calling the guitar the old man stick, which is so painful that it's funny because it's true. Yeah. The old man stick. It's funny to get a guitar student too that likes everything. And the music that they like best is doing guitar music, but they want to play guitar. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Do you have some of those?
Yeah.
And they chose guitar?
They chose guitar lessons. They're like, I have a guitar, I want to know how to play it. I like these artists that only have guitar. At least featuring prominently. Of course, you can play anything on guitar. So, but that's like, how did you get here? Like, the music you like doesn't have guitar. Where you play guitar? Yeah.
So, have you gathered some insight into how they decided what guitars were one of them?
No, not basic. I mean, I can make a guess that it's just they like music, and the guitars sort of separately like people play guitar. It's music, and they're cheaper. Maybe it looks easier to play than keyboard or something like that. It's some sort of like non-musical decision why they picked up the guitar. They want to play music, and guitar is an instrument that you can play music. It's not the music that they like. You know, I picked up the guitar because I love Nirvana, and that's guitar music. Then you learn about all these other cool guitar stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I love guitar, you know, and I love music, and like they grow together. Whereas like some of these students, these are two separate ideas: music, guitar.
said something similar recently. Like the guitar is popular among students and among families because, like you said, one takes up a lot less space than a piano. You can play it at any volume from inaudible headphones right to a cool. But it makes a lot of sense as far as a domestic, practical today's.
Yeah, and you can take it around places too. So, I mean, that's definitely one of the things I think made the guitar rack the problem is culture. Those things, cheaper, you take it anywhere, it doesn't take up a lot of space. And then it was musically everywhere. You heard it, all that music, the 50 years we talked about. And because of those, it became an important part of American music and black music too, right? Like all the same things.
If it was the other way with these students and they were like, I'm going to choose my experience purely on the most relevant to the music that I like the most. In my opinion, everybody would be a singer.
Sure. Singer. Right, rapper for sure. And so many, because I've taught a couple of classes in like audio production, music production kind of thing, programming thing. And they have no interest in the actual music. It's a sound, sort of like rhythmic sounds. Like I guess the actual music. That's a dumb thing to say, but the thing that makes music interesting from my perspective, like harmony and melody, that's like fairly understanding in hip hop. The people that make that sound and bring that's what music is.
In a way that opens the door to cool atonal shit happening.
Yeah, and which is cool. Like hip hop music, like the samples sometimes are not musically related. Like if you look at it from a certain perspective, and it sounds cool. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of people that make hip hop music don't have great time, which is an interesting thing.
I think that would be a cool rap.
I thought that was like the coolest thing about the music is that this connection to time, like rhythm, and like a lot of modern rappers have like that.
People though have to go through a process like two things come to mind immediately. The Beatles having that gig in Hamburg where they played 8 hours a day for however many weeks or whatever, and then back as the Beatles. And then like the movie straight out of Compton where they show the rise of NWA and the fact that one of those huge hit songs that they were about the Police.
Yeah, right.
That when they were in the recording studio, one of the guys who did all those verses was not a rapper.
Oh, right.
And he was, I think, a pro. And he wrote his verses in the easy.
Yeah.
And then they recorded his verse on that one line at a time.
Yeah, because his time was so bad.
And,
Yeah.
But then after doing that, was able to do that on stage later.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go through a process.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Those guys, Ice Cube in particular, his time is so good, like, and his control over time. I love listening to that. Biggie was like that too. It's like, and that's not surprising. You've seen the Biggie documentary with Donald Harrison, like his neighbor, great jazz guy. So Biggie was around musicians. Again, like I feel like I'm coming out with some like. I don't know. But people that Biggie grew up around people where time and rhythm was an important value in music. So so coming across his the way he flows. You gotta check out my favorite single rap track of all time is by a rapper named AC Alone. Yeah. This one track, The Guidelines, it sounds like a Max Roach drum solo, but with like incredible rhymes. So yeah, I started transcribing it recently. And then I'm gonna put pitches to it, like over the chord progression, because it's like a really simple chord progression. It's like